What it do, my guys, and welcome to the What's Poppin' podcast, the show with explosive questions and even more explosive guests from Resident Diesel. I'm Timmy D, joined by the boys Will from WMXX and Keem
2000.
2000, and we are with Keem, okay, and he is going to talk about game concepts with us today. So Keem, say hi, welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Keem. I don't really be doing much right now. I do have a business in the works, which is Pink Sunday. But next time I'm on the show, I'll go a little bit more into that.
Nice. I like it. And
Close to the vest for now.
Since we are talking game concepts, what do you know about that?
A little bit. I do follow game concepts. I'm really big into how games are developed and the starting point of them. I do have a lot to say about it. I'm a very big critic, so this should be an enjoyable episode.
Awesome. And I just want to jump in real quick because now that we're going, let's talk about you, Keem. Who are you as a person? Like when it comes to game development, like who truly dive into that just a little bit more.
I've been playing video games for probably since I was in a long time. I've been playing video games for a long time.
At this point in our lives, we just say long time.
Right.
Yeah, I've been playing video games for a long time. I actually used to want to be a video game developer, but then I did a little bit of research on how that happens, and I was like, that's a little bit much. So
right.
I had to change my trajectory with that. But really, I work on trying to create my own video games. So a lot of what I know is from just YouTube, doing research, and getting that process started with my own stuff.
Getting the foundation down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I know that you and I, we've known each other for some time now, and I got to know that you are in the works creating a concept for a big picture game. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's called Promised Land. Well, that's the name I have for it for right now.
Right.
My thoughts with video games, and I'll use Ghost of Tsushima for an example. It's a really big game, but what makes that game great is just the mechanics of the game. Right. If you took the whole story out of the game, it would still be an enjoyable game just because the mechanics are an enjoyable game. Even going back to like Gears of War, the reloading mechanism in Gears of War, where you're halfway through your reload, you reload again, you get a faster reload. Just the small things that they put into video games like that, I think, from a conceptual point, makes the video game what it is. Not necessarily the stories or how it looks or how good the frame rate is. It's really how the little things that you put into the game that make me go, wow, I can do this.
Right. Oh, what? You know what I mean?
The things that people look at other games and say, oh, man, I wish it had that from this game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I can relate to that. And I know Will can relate to that as well. Being that I'm a Resident Evil guy, you know, and transitioning from the original OG like Resident Evil trilogy, really it was 4 of them, but like that trilogy, and then moving on into Resident Evil 4, and just the concept of having the camera behind the back instead of fixed around the house, you know, like having that behind the shoulder view was something else. It changed all of survival horror, you know, and it changed my perspectives as well. It gave me a new light on how games could be made instead of should be made. You know, we all have that. Like, I feel like in the industry, there's a lot of like golden rules that you got to follow, you know, but then once you break the mold, like say CD Projekt Red, when they made The Witcher, you know, Oh yeah.
I thought you was about to say something else.
Cyberpunk. I mean, look. Cyberpunk is a good game now. You know what I mean?
Tried.
Yeah, they tried. but I'm definitely going to be using The Witcher as the example here. But you know, and just breaking the mold of like all these other RPG games and bringing so many new elements in that make gamers go, oh shit, you know. But Will, I know that you can relate to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one of the things that like you're talking about kind of like mechanics in the game that like make just the playing of it more enjoyable. It's like one of the things is like, how do you think like the UI like plays a part of that? Because like, you know, there are some games that like, yeah, you know, the concept is cool, but just like actually playing it, you have to like fight it almost, or just like you have to think like someone who plays video games did not design this, because why do I got to go to this menu and then select this? And just there's some things that you can see where someone who plays video games did not have a hand in it.
Yeah. Well, even that, or they don't. I don't feel like they care like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So like it took a lot to create a video game back in the day. So you put a lot more care into it because there wasn't a lot coming out. Now you have video games coming out left and right, and you're just really just trying to fill a deadline.
Yeah.
Because some certain games you're like, oh, it's a good game, and then you start playing it, and you're like, this, like it's good, but it's not.
It could be better. It could be more polished.
Right.
Yeah. And so like a lot of new games that come out, and I use Harry Potter Hogwarts, that game. Like it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's a complete game. They released it. It's just not
right.
something I would be like, hey, this game is going to stand the test of time. Like it's just not.
I'm going to play this like I play Skyrim. I don't fucking think
it's
so.
Not bad.
Now it's a good
that's
game.
What I feel like it's missing. Yeah,
it's a good game. Like I heard a little bird told me that you beat that really, really quick. How fast did you beat it?
I want to say I beat it in like 2 days.
He beat Hogwarts Legacy. Like, was that just main missions or also like side quests?
Side quests. I mean, but granted, it's not a really big game. So it's, to me, like usually when I play a video game, I'm hop on. Every game has a flow to it in my opinion. Once you figure out that flow of like, okay, I need to do this to farm, I need to do this to get this. Once you figure that out, it's really just, all right, just going through the map. And you can do Hogwarts is not hard. It's not a hard game, so it's not hard to get through everything that you got to do. And then once you release get the curses, the game is pretty much easy at that point. So it's just like you get through it. You can get through it pretty fast. It's not really in-depth game. It's very surface. It's Disney, so like we understand they only do so much.
Is it Disney or is it Warner Brothers? I'm pretty sure it's Warner Brothers own Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken.
Do they?
Yeah, but Warner Brothers is the same shit as Disney. So
whoever it is. Right. It wasn't Harry Potter Skyrim what I wanted.
right. It wasn't what we wanted, you know? And do you feel like since you beat it in so quickly, do you feel like they could have expanded on how many like playable hours there was?
Well, I think a lot of games that come out today, and I know I'm dogging on Harry Potter right now, but I do believe that a game like that, there was no depth to the game.
Right.
So the things that make up the Harry Potter world wasn't really in the game. So me choosing my class, me choosing my Ron, me having restrictions on what I can and can't do. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to do it because I can't do it this way. I have to figure out another way to do it.
Right.
So like that doesn't necessarily mean you have to add more to the game or more content to the game. You just make the game more complex. So then in turn, the game takes longer to complete because there's more content.
Yeah, true.
Just quickly, it was Hogwarts was developed by Avalanche Software with Warner Brothers and Disney. So
and Disney,
you're both right.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's crazy. What?
So there was no depth to it. Very much a kid-friendly game. And I'm not saying all that to say it's a bad game. It's an enjoyable game. Go play Hogwarts, whatever it's called. But
how did you get into like what was the first steps of you getting into like understanding the game development and concepting and all that?
Assassin's Creed. That's where I got like really like the first Assassin's Creed. That's where I got really like intrigued.
What year was that?
That had to be like 2000. That had to be like 2005, 2006.
Hold on, let me look.
Because I lived in Germany when the first Assassin's Creed came out.
That was
because I had played it on Xbox 360.
Damn, that was 2007.
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah,
close. Yeah, that's where like I got really. It's a long game. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention what the characters are actually saying to figure out where you need to go. That the world wasn't huge like games today.
Right.
It was so complex that like you have to go town to town. So
where was it? It was Jerusalem, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a complex like city to build, you know?
Yeah.
Like
with the parkour, just working all of that into a game back in the day, that was insane. Like I could parkour, there's assassinations, there was plot layout, it was just
for real. It was
a big map at the time. Like, because think about games, 2007, there weren't, there weren't many, at least, open world games at that point.
Right. Because in my memory, I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, damn, that was a big ass map for its time. Like every other game that I was playing was just like pretty linear and brought you on a path that you couldn't escape, And then here Assassin's Creed's come 2007, whipping us with open world and sandbox style gameplay. Like that was big. So is there any specific developer that stands out to you as the most impressive?
Not anymore.
Oh shit!
Not anymore. They CD Projekt Red was one, and Cyberpunk happened.
See, for me, it was like I really respect Rocksteady, the people who make Batman games, like the Arkham series. Yeah, I think they're damn good at what they do, and then also like giving us an element of open world nowadays with Arkham City and Arkham Knight. But still giving us that perfect story. See, I think Gotham Knights, where it failed was, and we're going to talk about Gotham Knights a little later, but I feel where Gotham Knights failed was the lack of 4-player, because I feel like that would have gave us a lot of incentive to play with big groups of friends instead of just 2 people. You have 4 characters. You didn't add 4-player. You have 4 characters. You didn't add 4-player. Like Suicide Squad, which we'll talk about, is coming out, and they are assumingly going to have 4-player. And that's where Rocksteady comes in and really shines for me. Is like they really think about the fans who are playing it.
Yeah, I don't have any. No company really impresses me right now. Like it's
interesting.
I mean, so right now it's really like hit or miss. Like Rocksteady, I think they're a good company. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think Rocksteady is one of those companies that you made a really, really good game. You know exactly what you have to do.
Right.
You don't really have to change your formula because there was no formula. There's really no like concept to begin with. You're just working on better graphics, bigger world. It's already an open sandbox, so how can we let people do like whatever they want to do? And I'm not saying that's not like hard. It's just in a conceptual, like we're making a game. You're not adding anything that's going to be like new. I think all that comes with time,
like groundbreaking
graphics and everything. I think that all that comes with time. So that's just technology getting better.
And I was just about to say, would you say that like at this point all we're trying to get better at is graphics and respawn time?
Well, no, not really.
Okay.
I mean, stories are like. I'm about to go into Cyberpunk. So I'll use Cyberpunk for example.
Okay,
Cyberpunk right?
Before you go in, I have to introduce Reaper. Are you with us?
This is Earth calling Reaper. Do you read?
Oh.
Anyways, go on. Dig into Cyberpunk for me.
All right, so Cyberpunk is one of those games. Great game when it works.
Right.
It's a great game.
If you have the setup to make it work.
If you have the setup to make it work. It's I mean, I beat it 4 times with all the glitches and the crashes. The whole 9. Because I've been waiting on that game for a long time.
Right.
The fact that they didn't add third person, it will never be a good game to me. That I think that decision of making it first person, like
I agree with that statement.
You made it first person, which is fine. You wanted to focus on the combat and everything like that,
right?
But then you released the game. Even if you had released the game and had third person in it, it wouldn't have been that bad because then I would have been able to see my character. I wouldn't have to focus on everybody looking the same. I wouldn't have to focus on the environment as much. And I get what you was trying to do, but it also could have just saved a lot of the trouble. It would have just been a more enjoyable game, like third person, which is why people want in the DLC for them to add third person. Because what is the point of me going and finding clothes and you adding all the clothing and all the stuff in the game, and I can't see any of it.
I can't see any of it.
There's no mirrors around the map, so it's not like I'm just seeing my reflection because I don't have ray tracing. So it's not like I can see my reflection.
And then you go in, and you go into your house and you go to the bathroom, and they're like, "You can change your appearance for what? Why the fuck would I want to change my appearance? I can't see myself."
Can't see myself. Why
I don't even I don't even care what I look like. I don't even care because I'll never be able to see myself.
But and again, even with animations, you talk about all the abilities that you have. You can't see any of that.
You can't see any
first. You can't see any of your cybernetics. You can't see any of that first person.
And the fact that they're not issuing a patch that would allow third person, like Resident Evil 8. A lot of people were like, well, we want to go back to third person. And what did Capcom do? They said, sure, no problem. And then they gave us third person for the entire Resident Evil 8 game. That's what they should do for Cyberpunk.
I mean, it should have been just Grand Theft Auto and honesty.
Right.
You should have, it's a futuristic world. You already have
we want to break the mold. I'm CD Projekt
but that's
Red.
what I mean. Like everybody try to change things that don't need. You're not trying to make anything better.
It's
conceptually.
It's the Apple kind of method where it's just like we're changing the way everything is done. It's not that it was broken before, but we're just changing it.
Yeah. So it's like, all right.
We don't know if this is even going to be good. You might want everything we take away back, but we're still changing it.
Yeah. So I want Cyberpunk. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
So for Cyberpunk, I feel like I think games have always done what Cyberpunk did.
Right.
I think it's just because Cyberpunk got called out real big.
Yeah.
I judge a lot more games a lot differently now.
Yeah.
They had a lot of problems to deal with.
You have to be able to look at it objectively. You know what I mean? And look at it from a bird's eye view instead of from at the angle they want you to see it at. You know? You have to be able to understand what's wrong to be able to understand how to move forward from that. But if we can, let's transition. It'll take for the next 10 minutes. I want to talk about what's trending right now in the world of game development. And the first thing I want your opinion on, Keem, is them issuing AIs as game designers. What do you think about that? That's replacing a big job.
I think they're going to do the same thing that they're doing right now. Nobody's really trying to do anything innovative.
Right.
It's just trying to put out as much content as possible. So I don't really think anything is. If it was back in the day, I think I would be more against it. But
yeah,
you're not. If you're not trained, change the mode already. They're going to be doing the same thing. You're just going to look at a bunch of concepts and then just regurgitate it in another way. You're not trying to change anything. Not trying to change the fold anymore. You're just like, hey, okay, let's make a battle royale. All right, I'm cool.
And then you're gonna market it off like it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Let AI make another.
It's the next COD beater.
Right.
That's fine. I'll play it. It's gonna be free to play.
Right. Right. Exactly. Why not?
I'll try it out.
It's free. But so, yeah.
I think it's all about how much you could put out. I think games get consumed at a very high rate right now, and so
more than ever,
just how much content can we continue to put out there. I think AI is going to do a really big job on indie games more than AAA titles, though. I think it's going to be you're going to see a lot more like indie games out.
Do you think they're going to be very vibrant?
The AI games?
Yeah.
I think there'll be. I mean, again, AI is basically like what you put into it. So, whatever if you want horror, if you want bright, I think whatever you put into it, like I feel like Resident Evil, your top game, that's probably going to get used a lot.
Right.
Yeah. That's probably going to be put into a bunch of concept for like horror games, scary games, thriller games. That's going to be put in there a lot. So you'll see a lot of. If they really go with it, you'll see a lot of like resemblance to, this reminds me of Resident Evil. I wonder why.
So what are your thoughts on like game modes or game designs that are geared towards we're all doomed? Like
the post-apocalypse?
More Dark Souls? Yeah, like Dark Souls, we're all doomed. You can't beat this. This is too hard. What do you think? Like that being a game model?
I don't mind them. I love the Dark Souls games. I think they're good games. I think they remind me more of old school games than any games that come out today.
True.
They're hard. They're challenging. It takes you. They might not be really, really long, but they're really challenging. So it takes you a really, really long time.
Right. Exactly.
To beat them. So you've got a game that you can play for a really, really long time. Except Elden Ring. I didn't like Elden Ring. I liked Elden Ring, but I didn't like Elden Ring.
I've never.
There's no story. So, like, I get what they're trying to do.
Is there not?
There is a story, but it's not like story. You don't play the game and then like if you follow a story, it's just
it's just kind of like free reign and you stumble upon this storyline.
Yeah. And you'd be missing out on stuff. Don't do this first and stuff like that. So
that's what I love about Skyrim. Skyrim, and just development wise, like the fact that they decided to just kick off the game, like, and I know I'm treading into story territory here, and I want to stay out of that territory, but like, it was a decision, a gameplay decision to give the Dragonborn a huge part in the entire like realm of Skyrim. The Dragonborn was so important to every single party that he ever came across, or she. Yeah, and that and right, like I don't want to tread into the story of it, but like that's an interesting mechanic. It makes you as the player feel like, oh shit, I have a larger than life mission.
I'm important,
right? Yeah. I'm extremely important,
which is what you want in a video game.
Yeah.
You don't like. I mean, I'll say probably for the most part, you don't want a game where your character is just another person,
right?
You want people like, oh, you're that guy or girl,
right?
Yeah.
But then again, go ahead.
But then, like, I think also like with it's kind of hard to do that now because a lot of them are multiplayer. Yeah. Skyrim wasn't multiplayer, so you can really like
dive deep
into stuff. A lot of stuff is multiplayer, and it's hard. Like I'm playing Atlas Fallen right now, and it's cool, but it's I'll just say what I say. It's cool. It's a cool game, but it's one of those games that it's built to be co-op,
right?
But I don't really think game developers really know how to do a co-op game anymore, just because that's not the thing.
For real.
So it's like it's just weird at this point. Like it's cool. I got on to play with the homie for a little bit.
Back 4 Blood was okay.
Yeah. There's just always a weird little thing with co-op games now, because it's like it's not like really multiplayer, but it's like co-op.
Yeah,
because it doesn't fall in the range of multiplayer, but it's like co-op multiplayer.
What do you think? What do you think about games nowadays going for the you are the storyteller kind of model? You know what I mean? Like you paint your own story. Kind of like if you ever heard about that Disney game, it was like Mickey with a paintbrush. You know.
I mean, that's always going to be there with VR and stuff like that. So that's really nice. I love me a little Telltale story,
dude. I love Telltale.
I love me a little stealth. I think those type of games are very, very niche, but I think they're fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think they're fantastic, like little mini games that you can get. I think they're
dude. I don't know if I call it a mini game because like I recently have been playing through Batman the Telltale series. Okay, and that took me like 12 hours to beat the entire 5 episodes.
Yeah, but there's 5 episodes. So like, you gotta like get all 5 episodes, and it's again like that Telltale has been out for a minute, but usually when Telltales come out, it's like episode 1.
It's 1 episode.
Yeah, 1 episode at a time.
And then you get the other ones, and they come out. Like,
and then you get the complete season.
Yeah,
for $70.
But they're great. Those type of games I think are great. Which is going back to the like AI developers thing. I think games like that are
from. So do you like I know you just said Telltale, but like how about like Detroit Become Human, or even I could say like Until Dawn, or any Supermassive game?
No, I'll watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's like a movie.
Yeah, I'll watch them on YouTube. I'll watch them like play it. For me though, if I had a MetaQuest helmet or something,
that would be sick.
Sit and just watch, just like just click and just relax. I think playing those type of games with a controller, I get bored pretty easily.
I can't wait for the day my fiance walks in and I'm just like with the VR on my face, like PlayStation VR. Oh, like I don't know what's going on. I'm just in another world. I can't wait.
I mean, I think I would enjoy it a lot more on like a VR headset. I would enjoy it a lot more. Be like more there. And
dude, have you
more
used
immersive?
VR? How is it? Have you used VR?
Yes, I tell customers that come and buy VR headsets. I think the best experience on VR that you can get is eSim racing. Still think that by far is the best experience on VR that you can get. But VR's cool. I don't think it's for everybody though.
Yeah, I heard it makes people.
It's quite a setup. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think everybody should get into VR. I think it's a lot of fluff, to be honest with you.
Really? It's like the 3D. It's like the 3D TVs were.
Years
ago, where it's like it's a cool thing to have, but like after like the first 6 months of having, you're like, okay, the honeymoon's over. It's just another piece of tech I have.
Yeah. I need to sit down.
That's a perfect like 1-to-1.
Yeah, no, right.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly how it could be.
Will, have you used VR?
Not personally. I've watched other people do it, and like some things are cool, like the way you can interact with things. I've seen some of like the more simple games, like Office. I don't even know if it's called Office Space, but it's like you're in an office and it's like you're interacting with the computer. This is the stapler. This is the coffee mug.
Office job simulator.
Yeah, I think that might. Yeah. And it's just like, again, like, that's cool the first time you use it. I can't see someone spending more than 2 hours playing that game though.
So I have a funny story.
Unless you're like, like you bring your friends over, like, hey, you take a turn. Oh, cool. Hey, you take a turn. And then it builds up that way. But just, I don't see one person spending that much time.
Right.
Personally.
So I have a story, right? I just recently got to experience VR for the very first time. It was at a gaming center, a bowling alley, Stars and Stripes, right? And I was there for my niece's birthday party, and yeah, we're having fun. We're playing all these games, arcade games, and then boom, they got 2 giant VR sets right there. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to try this out because like I've never tried VR. I don't think I'm ever going to come across a PSVR.
Was it just the headset, or did they actually have like the foot pad with it?
Let me get into it. Okay. It was like King Kong. right? Like a big ass station, like a big plastic, you know what I mean? Like, and they were really promoting it, and it was King Kong, and you put your fucking goggles on, right? and like I was with my sister, and we both put the goggles on. We look at each other, we could see each other's characters and see our arms moving. We were like, oh shit, that's fucking crazy. We look forward, and like it's like it's a rail game, like it's just like cinematically, but you can reach out and like kill like pterodactyls that are coming at you, right? But you're riding in this thing and it's going up and down like a roller coaster. It was the most insane, and I was looking all around, I could see my hands. It was the most insane thing I have. So when you say I don't know if people can spend hours on, I can spend hours on that. Okay. I can spend all day on that.
The VR, yeah. I mean, I could do eSIM racing. I love racing. I could do sim racing.
That would be so cool.
I could do sim racing all day.
Yeah,
like shooting games, all that other stuff, like workout games, like
the workout stuff.
You can keep all that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I can sit in the car like with the VR headsets on. I could do that for a little bit.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool to be on VR while you're having a road trip, you know, like you don't want to, if you're that type of person, like you just don't want to pay attention to what's going on outside, so you just fucking pop it on and just whatever, man, you know.
Yeah.
But that'd be pretty sick. Hey, I want to take this moment just to say, if you guys are enjoying this so far, then please follow us on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube and our Spotify, where you can find more of the stuff someone like you wants to hear. Also, come say hi with us and hang out on our official Discord, which we will be posting the link in the description below. Let's move on real quick, guys, to controversy, right? And this controversy comes from last year. It doesn't come from this year. Not a lot is happening right now in the game development space, controversy-wise, but there was something that happened last year. And I told you guys, I promised y'all that we would be talking about Gotham Knights, right? So if you guys don't remember, last year, Gotham Knights was released on the Xbox Series S. And the Xbox Series S runs at 30 frames per second, meaning Gotham Knights across the board is running at 30 frames per second with no promise of a performance mode or just a patch to allow us to get to 60 frames. So it is stuck at 30 frames. That is some sticky news. Keem, I would love your thoughts on that company doing that to that big ass game when we're in the age of 60 frames or 120 frames. Like, what are your thoughts? Gotham Knights.
That's Xbox Series S. Nobody cares.
But it's across the platform.
It's for everyone else.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for everyone else?
Yeah. For PS5.
But because it has to work on that lower tier system, they just said, okay, this is everything else has to.
Yes. Yeah.
They did the same thing they did. That is again, I don't think companies really care at this point. So
true. They're just trying to get the things sold. They're not worrying about, oh, this game only gets 72 frames per second. You know, we gotta work to fix it.
Have you ever?
It's a superhero game.
Yeah,
you gotta keep in mind, like, superhero games don't get really, like, Spider-Man does. Because Spider-Man came out and was a great game. But like even like Batman Arkham, it took a lot of time for all the DLC stuff to come out for like the Arkham series. Like, but superhero games in general just don't really get a lot of love, especially if it doesn't pop off right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning, like
if it don't pop off right at the beginning, it's not getting me.
Spider-Man was so revolutionary. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like superhero games come, like they really gave us the voice of, hey, this is how it should be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but also a lot of people care about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is probably one of the most loved characters.
Yeah, just like Batman.
Superhero. Yeah. That's another podcast stuff episode. I'll be on for that
one. Well, I mean, those Spider-Man games came out after the movies did, right? Like, they started with Spider-Man in the MCU before the games came out, right? Yeah. So interest for Spider-Man was probably at an all-time high.
Yeah, true. It came out 1 year before the game,
even though it's not the one-to-one Peter Parker, but still.
But you also got to think. I know this is probably a little bit off topic, but you also got to think like there's a Spider-Man for everybody. Yeah, that's what's so great about Spider-Man and even releasing a video game. You don't have to do much because from little kids all the way up to old man know who Spider-Man is and have a version of Spider-Man that they mess with. So it's like, whether it's just there's a Spider-Man for everybody.
You know what Sony's saying? Sony, when he goes to sleep, whoever Sony is, right? Sony Computers is saying, "Do you like me now, bitch? We got Spider-Man." You know, Sony is the best. How many times I gotta say it? You know,
Sony is the best.
Sony is the best.
Sony is pretty good. Sony is pretty good.
They are pretty good. I turned this man into a Sony man. I did.
He did.
I converted.
Really?
Definitely changed me too.
He's working on everybody.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely.
Are you familiar with Pokemon Legends Arceus?
Yes. I will say now I am not a big Pokemon fan.
Can we talk about the graphics controversy of last year? How everybody felt like they kind of skimped on the graphics just to give us open world.
Oh, I think I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it's Pokemon and it's also the Switch. I don't really know what you like. Granted, I'm also like I'm in two camps. I'm also in that camp of like it's the Switch, like it's Pokemon.
Right.
Like Pokemon should run like 120 like it should be fantastic on the Switch at this point. Like that's literally all you've created for years. Like it should be blowing people's mind. But then again, like you're trying to do a lot on
a handheld platform.
That's not that you didn't build for that, right? So
true.
You gotta get what you like. It's not built for like a big open world like that. With that much detail, that many Pokemons in the game, like it's just not meant for that. That's why they can port like Call of Duty and any of that stuff over because it's just not.
It's just
too big. It doesn't have the specs for that.
Right.
Realistically,
like how I mean, this might be too in-depth of more of a tech question than anything else, but like, how ridiculous would a handheld console have to be to run Warzone or, whatever COD?
You would have to have the Steam Deck or a ROG Ally.
Right.
But this is what upsets me about Nintendo, though. Like, you should have the best, like the Nintendo Switch 2. You should have the best.
It should be better than a ROG. It should be better than a Steam Deck.
You should have the best handheld on the market. Like
there should be no competition. There should be no. You're Nintendo, motherfucker.
It should be Nintendo and everyone else.
Right. Yes, it shouldn't be. Hey, there's Steam Deck. Why would I get a Nintendo Switch? There's ROG Ally. Why would I get a Nintendo Switch? So I could play what? Pokemon. So I could play Animal Farm or no, not Animal Farm. Animal Crossing. Animal Farm is very different. Yeah, but like,
but you can emulate the Switch on the ROG and the Steam Deck. So it's kind of like you kind of put, which is why I'm hoping the Switch Pro, the Switch 2 or the Pro 2 or whatever they're gonna call it. I'm hoping it's game changing.
Yeah,
it's probably not gonna
being Nintendo.
I don't have much faith in Nintendo.
Nintendo.
All they need to run is Super Mario.
Like, look, Nintendo holds one game that we hold dear, and that's Mario Kart, and that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Don't hate me, internet. Okay, don't hate me because.
But Nintendo don't do nothing. Hate.
It's true.
Internet. Like the last good game from Nintendo that I really, really enjoyed playing was Time Splitters.
Time Splitters? Oh, damn. Yo, my brother, who is in limbo right now, he has Time Splitters 2 on the GameCube. Okay.
Fantastic game.
Fantastic game. That shit is fucking wild.
What game have they made that's like Time Splitters?
Right. No game.
No
they haven't made shit like Time Splitters. Talk about a good concept. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
Like, it was a good game. It was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Nintendo.
I want to go ahead and take the next 10 to talk about top picks, right? And I picked 10 games that are widely and popularly seen as some of the best games of our time, right? I'm going to go ahead and read them out to you. but then we're going to go ahead and talk about them. Okay. I've got Dark Souls. I've got Doom. I've got the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild series. I have Minecraft, The Last of Us, Metal Gear Solid, Halo Combat Evolved, Grand Theft Auto 5, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, and Mass Effect series. Okay, all of those are pretty different in their design, right?
Yeah.
But are widely seen as game changers. So I want to talk about the first one. Talk to
all
me about
won multiple awards, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, definite classics.
So I know we've already talked about you being a Souls fan, right? But can you talk to me about a little bit deeper on Dark Souls and what do you think the mechanics of that, how that really stands out to you?
Dark Souls stands out to me like, again, if you want something challenging, if you like a challenge, Dark Souls series is where you go.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be a super long game, but it's so challenging that it takes a long time.
Right.
Which what makes that kind of like mechanic, which I would say that's their mechanic, is it being difficult.
Right.
So like even if you leveling up and everything like that, the monsters and stuff still do a lot of damage. So you're never really safe.
You're never really strong in that game.
Yeah, unless you use cheat code or on PC. Right. You're never really strong in that game. So I think that's why it stays up top of the boards and why so many games try to copy this.
Before I ask you about the next game, I'm gonna press a button that I've been wanting to press for a while. Yay. Jesus, that lasts a lot longer than I wanted it to. They're still clapping. They're still clapping. Good work, man. You made everybody happy. But Will, are you familiar with Dark Souls?
Not personally. I've like you said, I've heard people say about how difficult it is and it's soul crushing because you think you got the boss beat, you almost got it, you're almost there, and then they just kill you.
Yeah, it's fucking
speaking to the difficulty of it, but no, I personally have not had hands-on experience with Dark Souls. No,
if I'm not mistaken, they might have been one of the pioneers of like this is a nightmare mode and there is no other mode. You know what I mean? Like this is just hard and there is no other way around this. Like they might have been one of the very first because aren't they? They also created Armored Core, and Armored Core was hard as fuck. Okay, back in the day.
About the new one.
Oh my god, brother!
Yeah,
I'm so excited about the new one.
Like,
when they announced it, I was like,
super excited. Yeah.
But what do you feel about Doom and the Kill 'Em All?
Doom, I played like twice. I didn't beat Doom, but Doom's also not my type of game. It's just too fast paced for me.
Yeah,
like it's too fast paced. My mind doesn't move that fast. So,
Will, what do you think?
I mean, unfortunately, I'm kind of in the same camp as him. I don't have hands-on experience. I've watched some people play it, and it's just everything goes so fast, and the bright colors and the gore, and it's just like, oh my god, like it gives me a headache because it's just moving so fast.
Now, I actually have things to say on Doom, right? Because I own both Doom 1, Doom 2, and I have played the newer Dooms. Now, with all that being said, the Kill 'Em All.
Wasn't me.
That was my little. It's fine. I'll worry about it. My bad.
But no, you're good. But yeah, Doom, just it being so fast paced and like, of course, like the metal music behind it doesn't help.
Of course, soundtrack.
Which is fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. Though.
Great choice. Just like it brings so much to the table, and I really like that model, like the boom, 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 just kill everybody. It's fun, but sustainable. Like maybe replayable, but sustainable. No, you got to keep coming out with. You got to keep like outdoing yourself with that one because it's no Witcher 3. Yeah. So moving on. I know you're not a Nintendo person, but Legend of Zelda, like the Breath of the Wild. So what they introduced and everything that they've given us.
I think the Breath of the Wild is pretty amazing. which is why I think the Switch 2's it should be pretty good,
Right.
just because of what they did with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is it's to me it's Zelda Skyrim.
Right, it's legendary.
So
it's legendary.
So it's pretty good. The only thing I couldn't get past is that the weapons break. So that game
I know, right? How stupid is that?
That game was a no.
I mean, but it brought that RPG element to the game, you know, like
yeah, no,
like,
all that's really amazing. If it didn't if the weapons didn't break, I would be playing it. I would have bought a Switch just to play Zelda, but the fact that the weapons break, I was just like, no.
And Will, are you familiar with Zelda?
No,
not at all.
I mean, I've heard good things about it. I've never played.
Okay, have you ever played any Zelda game?
No.
Really?
Not a one.
Now, when I was a kid, I had a Game Boy Advance. No, a Game Boy SP. And I had the Legend of Zelda, like the original one, right? The one, A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past. Yeah. So I fell in love with that game. Like, that's the only Zelda, like, I truly played out. Every other Zelda game I kind of fell off of, but after seeing and watching Breath of the Wild, it kind of blows me away. And my fiance, she plays it a crap ton. So like watching her play, it's kind of amazing.
For the longest time, I thought I was a really big Zelda fan until I found out that Link is not Zelda. Zelda's somebody else.
Right.
I guess I'm not. I guess I'm not that big of a Zelda fan.
I guess I don't know anything. But moving on, I want to talk about Minecraft, right? What are your thoughts on them coming in and dominating the building market?
I think it's a pretty amazing game. I think in concept wise, I think it's the best game. Best like sandbox type of game. I think it's out there. I don't think anything else is going to come out that beats Minecraft because you can pretty do whatever you want in Minecraft. I don't play it a lot because I tell customers I don't like if your kid plays Minecraft, they're really inclined because it's not as easy as it seems. Like there's a lot of knowledge to know. There's a lot of things to know for that game. They're like you can put a whole world like it's kudos. It's not for me. That's also like
go on.
I think it's an amazing game. I think it's pretty good.
But Will, what do you have any experience with Minecraft?
I have a little bit of experience, and I just enjoy the creativity of it. The way, like as you mentioned, you could do just about anything. You know, it starts off, you build your little wood hut, and then as you expand, you dig deeper, and it's like you could build these like colossal. It's not even houses at that point. It's like fortresses and castles.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider it a survival game?
I mean, yes, at its core, it kind of is because, of course, at night, you have to deal with monsters and enemies, creepers and things of that nature. But I mean, I think of it more of like from the creation standpoint.
Yeah. So I've never played Minecraft, right? I have no idea how it's played.
I wasn't expecting
that. Yeah, I've never played it. And also, I've rarely watched any videos of Minecraft, so I don't even really know how to play.
That's crazy.
But But
see, I was big into Achievement Hunter back in the day, so they had Minecraft Let's Plays. No, for everything they did. I was a big Achievement Hunter fan back in the day, and just one of the games they played was Minecraft, and just some of the fun stuff they did, like they'd make their own games in the game, and it's just fun. It's not
Now my nephew, he plays Minecraft. And I didn't get to watch him play Minecraft, but he talks real highly of it. He loves that game. And it's funny because he's autistic, right? He's like 11 years old. So he really loves to build. And I think it's really healthy for him. You know what I mean? Like to be able to dive in and be so obsessed and build and expand that type of knowledge. Who knows? Maybe one day he becomes a game developer because he loves developing inside this game so much. Yeah, right. Or an architect. And that's what I'm saying. Like he do something big, all because of Minecraft.
Yeah.
But let's move on and let's talk about The Last of Us, right? PlayStation exclusive. It brought us something that we rarely truly got, which was a true cinematic video game. Like it melded both of those worlds in 2013 so seamlessly. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think it did a fantastic job of combining both of those worlds.
Yeah.
Did not play the second one.
Great game.
I think I've talked to you about this before.
Yeah.
Don't know how I played the first one. So
I know, right?
Kudos to that, because I don't play games like that. But played the first one. I think they did a perfect job of just melding those two worlds. Also, I think at the time The Last of Us came out, we didn't have a lot of games that really had a story that hit you like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that story, after playing, you're just like, by the beginning to the end, you're just like,
yeah, you changed.
What's happening? Like, I feel like around that time, like we didn't have games that come out with like a good story like that. So
I think the only games that ever came out with stories like The Last of Us were like Metal Gear Solid, you know, and actually we'll get into that very soon. But during that time, 2013, I mean, think about what came out during that time: Grand Theft Auto, you know, Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, right. And then we had Tomb Raider come out, the reboot, you know, which was a fantastic game, but it didn't live up to The Last of Us. It felt like The Last of Us really put their fucking dick right across 2013. It was just like, yo, you can't beat me. You cannot beat me. This is the best.
I mean, essentially, that's what it was. Because I mean, like, what that thing. That game cleaned up at every award show that it was featured in,
right? And duly so, you know, like that game deserved every award,
justifiably, yes.
But it brings me to move on, and Will, we have covered The Last of Us a lot.
We have a lot of history with The Last of Us between the games, the show, everything. That's something we've been a part of for a while.
Couldn't agree more with you, Keem. That game is. Oh,
the show or the game?
Don't ask me that. Oh, the show or the game?
The
first or the second?
The first or second.
Oh, don't ask me that question. That's a horrible
I'd say first.
Question. What?
I'd say first.
You say first? Okay.
Gameplay wise, second. Actually, story wise, second one. Yeah.
Second one?
I'd say, yeah, second one's better to me. Yeah. The first one was more linear and gave us like and I don't want to get into story, guys, but like, you know, the first one
not what we're here for.
Here's a development thing. It's very linear, you know, it's very like, here you are, there you go. You know, in Last of Us Part 2, the more expanded map, the fact that you could go anywhere in that little area was awesome to me. That was, and so much life in every section of that game brought it to a really big like standard for me.
Can't wait for season 2.
Can't wait for season 2. But let's go ahead and talk about Metal Gear Solid. Who's familiar? Who's not?
I know a little bit about Metal Gear because all my best friends, they really, really love Metal Gear.
I respect them.
Not me though.
Oh,
I'm not. I'm a Splinter Cell. That's always been.
Oh God! So, you realize Snake can kill him, right? Anyways,
I've seen the death battle. I know. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But as far as I do have like for a 60-second thing to say on Metal Gear Solid, since I'm the only one with like large amounts of investment into it. I've been following the game since I was a child, you know, like one of the very first games my mom ever got me was Metal Gear Solid 1. And the fact that was truly the start of melding a cinematic piece with gameplay, you know, like the fact that like it went so hard, dude. The story went so hard, so deep, so good, you know, so much quality in it.
Right.
That it blew me away during that time. We have lost Keem.
I'm sure I'll be back. It's just the thing with me with those games, it's like as soon as I heard like, oh, these games like take days of game time to complete, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's just a personal thing for me. It's just like when I hear like, oh, this game has like 50 hours of gameplay, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Let's move on to Halo. Who's familiar with Halo? Keem, thoughts on it?
I kind of fell off Halo after won't say Halo 3, like Halo ODST.
Reach.
That's kind of
You fell off on ODST. I don't
kind of fell
blame
off
you.
of it.
I don't blame
Reach
you.
was okay. I won't say it was terrible.
It's a good game.
But after Reach, I just stopped. I don't know what happened with the Halo series. I just stopped caring for real.
Yeah, 4 wasn't great.
Yeah, like Halo 3 was. I don't know. I got an Xbox 360 just for Halo 3.
I'm telling you, Halo 3 was the pinnacle of Halo.
And then any Halo before that, like after Halo 3, and then I believe ODST came out after Halo 3.
So
and then after ODST, I stopped playing Halo altogether.
How do you feel about the concept of like space, a big galactic war first person shooter, you know, bringing in the elements of like plasma guns and stuff like that?
I think that's kind of iffy with the Halo series. Halo was really, really good because it was just a new concept that you haven't seen before.
Right.
But there was like really no like mechanics in the game.
First person shooter has been done.
Right. Yeah, like it's pretty much the same. But I would have to say the story is what really carried that series, which is why I don't think any of the newer Halos do that good, because I don't think most people really care about the story anymore or really know what's going on with the story anymore. So I think it doesn't get as much love
as it could.
Yeah, as it could, yeah. I think Halo 3 was the last time everybody collectively cared about the story.
I feel the same way. But Will, do you have any experience with Halo?
Some brief history. I mean, a lot of my friends had Xboxes, as you know. I've always been a Sony guy, so I've never actually had an Xbox. So anytime playing Halo was playing at a friend's house or, you know, things of that nature. So unfortunately, I mean, from what I've played of Halo, it was awesome, but my experience is brief.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, did you have fun at least?
Oh, absolutely. Playing, you know, team death matches or like doing a co-op story.
I mean, the fact that when
I remember having LAN parties, you know, at school, like all our friends and our laptops just go to Blood Gulch, and it's just
that's what I'm saying.
Each other for the whole time. It was a blast, but just because I was always. I mean, I had a crappy laptop back then too, so I mean, I'm not blaming my skills or lack of skills on that, but I mean, they had a lot more practice than I did. Let's just say.
I mean, just the concept of bringing like flying machines and giant cannons and just like all out warfare,
a lot of fun.
against your friends, so fun. So like I remember
so many nights, so we're just like screaming at each other.
So many nights of just Halo.
I will say for me, because there was like Halo, I think Halo 3 was probably my favorite because that was the last time they had like couch co-op for real.
Right.
Which I guess for me, I associated that with the Halo series because that's how I always played Halo, was like, like where all the terms like you're screen cheating and you rocket horn, like all those like terms that came from like the Halo 3 days.
Yeah,
that was all because we was all sitting in the same.
Everyone was playing Halo.
Yeah. So I was like, after that, there was like it wasn't really the same thing.
Yeah,
playing
online is not the same.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of playing online, let's move on to Grand Theft Auto. And I don't want to get too far into Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's not, even though they did add a lot, it's not exactly super original. I just want to talk about Grand Theft Auto as a game in general. Like even back in the 90s when they first came out, like the over the head, you know what I mean? Like look down, top down view, like the fact that they were essentially the most progressive and expansive studio to do like sandbox style, especially back then, like when games were super small. What would you say about Rockstar? Like what are your thoughts on Grand Theft Auto as a game conceptually?
I think it did change like the world. I think it's one of those video games that like literally changed everything. So I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it because
I know, right?
It's always good. It's like it's always going to just stay.
Yeah, it's just so good.
I mean, like you mentioned the sandbox thing. It's like I remember, like even back in the days of PS2, playing like Vice City, and like again, think of for that time to have an entire city where you could just go around
wherever.
and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. Like, just for PS2 days, that was like unheard of.
Like you could literally go in a bank and rob the bank and just
Yeah. Like
it's insane. Like I remember you could literally do what you wanted.
I was playing games like Driver, right, back in the day. And yeah, that's cool. I could drive around a city, but like I couldn't get out of my car.
Right.
I can get out of my car in Grand Theft Auto. It just sucks. My mom never let me play it because it was too violent. I told her, guess what, Mom? I'm a violent guy. No. But okay, so
we all found ways to play it when we shouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Moving on, let's talk about specifically Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, I know that a lot of us have a lot of experience in Elder Scrolls V. But Keem, I'd like your thoughts on just how they introduced that new concept from Oblivion to Skyrim and how they improved on everything.
So before Skyrim, I didn't play Oblivion. So any Skyrim game, any of the Elder Scroll games before Skyrim, I watched my older brother play.
Right.
He was real big. Then I got into it. I got into it around Skyrim like 5. And that's the one I played really heavy. But I usually just watched him play it. It was, I kind of put it, it's kind of like the Final Fantasy series to me, kind of like how their series switched up. That's kind of how I see the Skyrim series switched up. Because, well, Final Fantasy still plays a heavier role in that, but just conversation-wise, combat got a little bit more free. Yeah. If that makes sense. It was more...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It was a lot more to the combat of the game.
15 killed Final Fantasy for me, at least. And I don't care what anybody has to say to me. Like, Final Fantasy, I'm not even going to buy Final Fantasy 16. Sorry. I love Final Fantasy 14 for the fact that it stays kind of true to, like, the model of Final Fantasy. But the combat system, FF7 all the way, baby. And not the remake, okay? I'm talking the original. All right.
But with Skyrim, I think the combat is probably the biggest thing that kind of like changed for me, that I noticed a lot. That was the combat and the skill tree, just how in depth both of those two things were.
Super in depth.
Go ahead.
Just the fact that you can get a weapon, upgrade the weapon, and then you can upgrade yourself to be able to use the weapon better. And then you can even put a spell on the weapon to make it even better. You know what I mean? And kill even more.
Yeah. Probably the best skill system in a game that I've played in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's probably...
What that I enjoyed.
Easy to use, too.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make you confused when doing it.
Yeah. Just use the weapon.
Right, just use the weapon. Moving on to our final game. What does everybody think about Mass Effect?
Best series to ever come out.
Heard a lot, never played it.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it.
Come out. I want to hear it.
You've never played Mass Effect?
No.
Neither of you have ever played Mass Effect?
No, I never
heard a lot about it. Never played it.
My fiance loves Mass Effect. Never played it.
Okay, so Mass Effect, man. Right.
Here we go.
Like Mass Effect, in terms of like games that came out where you make the choices, you choose your story. Mass Effect is probably one of those games that really like emphasized you choose your story. You create your character. You're gonna be Shepard, but you create your character. You make him look however you want. All your decisions matter throughout the game. Whatever choices you make, they matter. They matter if a character lives or dies. It's just really in depth through the whole entire game. Mm-hmm. Combat system's pretty good. The skill tree system's not really like super in depth, but you're just exploring space, which is you're exploring space. You're having wars. It's just.
And if I'm not mistaken, from Mass Effect 1 to 2, the data transfers, and then from 2 to 3, the data transfers. So like, as you
your
play,
Shepard stays with you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mass Effect.
I don't know why games don't do that more.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
I think it's so simple.
Right. Hey, we're coming out with a part 2. Did you want us to move everything that you did previously in that last game, everything that affected the story, did you want that to happen in the second? Like that would be.
I also think Mass Effect came out at a time where like it didn't have to jump. We only have a certain amount of consoles out, so I didn't have to jump or work on another console. Like it was just that PlayStation, PlayStation era console, and then for PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, like it was pretty much
done from there.
So I think it's harder for games to do it now because there's just so many more consoles out that you gotta
cover more bases as far as tech and specs and
when you do that, you end up with Cyberpunk.
Hey, stop harping on Cyberpunk, okay? Leave it alone.
No,
it's already good.
No.
Like I remember being in middle school, like for the first time, and like seeing the E3 for Cyberpunk 2077.
I know, right? It was a while ago.
I remember that, and for you to game come out so garbage,
I know,
so trash,
right?
It's just the disrespect.
So
how long I've been waiting on this?
So those are definitely some of the top games with some of the best concepts that have come out in the history of gaming. You know, for the next section, this is going to be a real quick section. We're going to go through the most anticipated games coming up. I'm going to give you a scale of 1 to 10 on how excited you are for that game. You tell us a little bit about why you're excited, and then we move on to the next game. So the very first one, right? And this is for you too, Will, okay? You tell me how excited you are for it.
Got it.
Alan Wake 2 by Remedy. Scale of 1 to 10.
3.
Will?
I'm not a horror game.
Don't know it.
0? Oh my God, mine is at a fucking 11. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say this, Alan Wake, I've been following that game, like the first game, since the 360 era. And that was one of the most impressive games I've ever seen in my entire life. If you like Stephen King novels, you're going to love that game. I'm just saying. Alan Wake 2 seems like it's... interesting. Okay. Interesting.
I
But
watch horror movies.
Oh, wow. That's true. You don't. That's crazy.
No,
Anyways, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Scale of 1 to 10.
6.
Really? Why?
It's Ubisoft. I gotta see it.
It has to come out first.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's Ubisoft.
Again, 0. Never played anything in the franchise.
Oh, you've never played an Assassin's Creed game?
I told you that already.
Yeah, you did. It just hit me again.
My buddy from my old job kept telling me, like, man, you can go get the bundle from like GameStop. It's like $10. It's like $20. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. And it's all these years later. I still haven't done it.
I'd say I'm at a 5. I'm not super excited. I'm not excited. You know,
it's on the list to play when it comes out.
It's Assassin's Creed for me. You know, Valhalla and Odyssey showed us a different type of Assassin's Creed, but this one, it looks like they're going back to the originals, which is cool. Whatever. It's Assassin's Creed. Here we go. Right. Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, 1 to 10.
Big 0.
Big 0?
Yeah.
Big 0.
Tell me why.
I don't care. To be honest, I don't care. I didn't watch the second movie.
Me neither.
I don't understand where the story is going. I don't understand.
I don't promote violence, right? And I don't promote like me, especially being violent. But if anybody has a disagreement with me with what I'm about to say, you can catch these hands. I'm just saying. But all that full disclaimer, you know, I am not a fan of Avatar. I'm not a fan of the first movie. I didn't watch the second, and I don't give a shit about that game. I know they pumped a lot of millions of dollars into this game. Great for you.
Yeah,
good for you, Ubisoft.
You're gonna go bankrupt. I know the concept of it,
right? Until I see something that's like, ooh, I gotta try this.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Even when I see the concept, even when the game releases and we see people playing through, doing walkthroughs, I still won't give a shit because I don't give a shit about Avatar. I don't care about. Yeah, the world to me is I'm not gonna get that game, but there is one game that was recently that came out, but we can still talk about it since it's like so fresh. Baldur's Gate 3. Anticipation. Scale of 1 to 10.
Don't know anything about it.
What? Okay. So Baldur's Gate 3, right, is right now being seen as one of the best RPG games that has ever been made.
Really?
And yeah, it's like from Witcher, what Witcher was to PS4 and Xbox One. Apparently, Baldur's Gate is to our next gen current consoles. Our current consoles, so PS5 and Xbox Series. I'm super excited, but it's Dungeons and Dragons essentially. That's all it is, So check out Baldur's Gate 3. It is badass, but
just RPG games to me personally just never really, I've never been into them. So I mean, that's part of the issue.
Not even Diablo 4. How I know
the only interest I have in Diablo 4 is from the Lilith trailer. Let's put it that way.
I know, right? That was badass.
But I want that statue, but I do not have $600.
Bro, I do. Anyways, Keem, what was your excitement for that? Scale of 1 to 10 when it was coming?
Oh, 8.5.
8.5, Diablo 4? I don't blame you.
For Diablo 4?
Yeah.
I was 7.5. I thought we still talk about Baldur's Gate.
Oh, yeah. I like that. 8.5 for Baldur's Gate. Yeah, because I'm around that too, like an 8. And yes, I would agree with you on Diablo 4. I would give it like a 7. I was semi excited. Yeah. How about
it's okay.
How about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
That's the new one. Is that the new one that came out?
It's coming out. Yeah. So there was Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out, and now they're coming out Rebirth. It's giving us a more open world view of Final Fantasy VII and giving us it's like multiverse.
I would say like I put it at an 8 right now.
I'm at an 8.
God, people are going to hate me in this review just because again, not a fan of RPGs. Have no experience with a lot of these classic franchises, but
you like racing games though, right?
Yeah, I haven't played many of them, but I do enjoy them. Yes.
Now I know we're a bunch of Sony guys, and I know you guys see that I'm definitely a Sony guy. But Forza Motorsport is coming out.
0.
Oh wow. Will.
I mean, kind of same. Again, if someone has it, I'll play it, but I'm not tripping over myself to buy it.
I'm at a 0, everybody. I'm at a 0 because I don't have a fucking Xbox. That's right, Keem. We don't have a fucking Xbox, okay? Microsoft. I don't need your sponsor. I'm just kidding. Don't take that literally. Anyways, what are you guys what are you guys thinking about Hades 2? Have you guys watched Hades at all? Part 1? Nope. Keem, we have a mutual friend. I won't name her here, but we have a mutual friend that loves Hades.
Hades isn't it like the
kind of like 2D side scroller
game?
Yeah.
That was cool. I think I actually have it on my PlayStation 5. It's right? Like I think it's because it's like we might be talking about 2 different games. I think
it's like you're the son of Hades and you can just fucking slash through people. It's great action.
Yeah, I think I have played that.
Yeah.
I'll put it at 7.5.
7.5. I'm at like after what our mutual has showed me, I'm at like an 8, I think, or 9 to be honest. It kind of it's badass. Will, if you haven't seen Hades, you gotta check that out. Like that, will do. And I can understand if you haven't seen Hades because that's an indie game. It flew under the radar for a lot of people, but that is a must. I'm sure in the PlayStation Store you've seen it. It's a must-have game.
I mean, I think you talk about how it's like about the son of Hades and you go around slashing people. I think I might have seen some gameplay of it, but not enough to like where I know.
Right. No,
it is by name.
Sick, dude. It is sick. And finally, the last 2 games on this list are superhero games. So, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. How 10. Excited are we for that? 10? 10.
Yeah.
I'm at a 10.
Definitely on my playlist anyway. I know I haven't been high on many of these, but that's definitely on my list.
I mean, we're talking about Venom. We're talking about Kraven the Hunter. That is so sick. Like, and especially in time for Kraven the Hunter to come out, guys. Everybody, Sony. Okay, we're all at a 10. We can move on from that one. And the next one is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm at a 10. I'm just gonna say it. I'm at a 10. I'm actually at 11.
I'm at I would say I'm not like a 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
Will?
I'd say I'm at an 8 just because of how long it's taking. And I know, this is something we've talked about a lot, how this game just seems to be in development hell. It's like, I feel like it's been like 5 years or so since we saw that first trailer, but
right, exactly.
I mean, I'm still excited to play it. I'll definitely be on it, but it just feels like this game is like so stuck in purgatory that it's like it's not even on my radar at this point, just because it's like, when are we getting something significant?
Right. So with all that said, covering what's trending right now, covering controversies and hitting our top picks and of game development, like all these game concepts, things we're looking forward to because of the concepts themselves, like Spider-Man 2 and like Hades, some things that are pushing the limit on games. And it really brings it full circle, like what a wild thing to be popping nowadays, and that's definitely what's popping is gaming, and especially game development. My fiance in school right now to be game developer, and it's really hard. She a lot of her time is dedicated to that school, and I don't get a lot of time to see her much because she's so busy learning how to be a game developer. So I know that it's an extremely hard road. I know that even you, Keem, and your career and what you've got going on in your business coming up and all that, like it must be super, super hard on you. Is there one specific thing that you've learned through that time learning and understanding programming and game development that you could give to the audience that is most transferable to your regular life?
Be patient. That's probably the biggest advice. Just be patient with it. It's like
love that.
Learning a new language. So
yeah,
just be patient.
As they say, they are new languages. You got C++, Java. Like
it's pretty much learning a new language. So just be patient with it and take your time. Digest it, but be patient. Take your time.
Yeah.
Don't rush to it, because then you miss out on something, and it's a bitch to go back and try to figure it out.
Right. Just be patient.
Yeah.
And I know that you are a real patient guy, and you were patient with us, the What's Poppin' crew. And I do want to say that if you guys really enjoyed this episode, you really liked Keem, you really liked us, the What's Poppin' crew, if you enjoyed everything, please go follow us on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube and our Spotify, where you can find more episodes like this one. Go to our Spotify because we just set it up and it's fucking amazing. Okay. Also, come say hi with us on our Discord and hang out and chill with us. Finally, we're going to open up more rooms. We're going to put more links in the description below. Again, Will, WMXX2000. We got Keem, a game concept business developer, and coming out with his own business centering around a lot of that stuff. And just watch out for Keem because he's going to be coming at us hard with some games. And I can't wait to play his first one, or his second or his third, whatever one he's on now, And Will, of course, go check out WMXX 2000 if you want to check out some good guitar covers. If you're a metalhead, go hang out with him. And of course, Timmy D from Resident Diesel. Guys, if you love Resident Evil, come chill with the best in the business, because I am just like Chris. Huge. Not really. I'm more like Leon, just pretty. But come hang out with me either way, I do play that Resident Evil a lot, and I do be liking to make content for you, so come say hi. What's popping, guys? That's the end of the episode. If you guys want to watch more, go ahead and continue on and let this continue playing if you're on Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead, hit this box right here. And if you want to see more of our stuff, go ahead, hit the bubble that has our name and logo on it, because it's going to bring you to everything. All right, guys, with that being said, peace.